Welcome to General Admission. Today is August 3rd. It is our 69th episode. Bow, 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 bow.
Nice.
And we are glad to be back. We had an interview last week. Now we're happy to just be here talking what we've been up to, what we've been listening to. There's been stuff going on.
I'm riding a high off an interview we just did.
Yes, just a great interview. Keep an eye out next week. Also, if anyone is here from
the Rob Harvilla episode.
Yes, thank you. From Rob's tweet. Thanks for sticking around. That was like Rob Harvilla tweeted about us, which like we were talking about the other day, like someone who is a really successful podcaster shouting us out has done more for us than like any band shouting us out has ever done, which actually kind of like makes a lot of sense if you think about it. But
and if you listen to 60 songs like explain the 90s, like you know how great that podcast is, so it makes sense why a lot of people kind of listen to what he puts out there.
Yeah, so thank you to Rob, and thanks to anyone who stuck around. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, we have been out and about in the world. A lot of Asbury shenanigans.
Bouncing around the shows.
Bouncing around the shoals. I guess we should start there, huh? Because that was like the furthest away. We went to Stoked for summer like 2 weeks ago. Phish being on a Wednesday really like confused my life because I feel like there's an extra weekend that like appeared.
It's like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. But the Souls put on their annual Stoked for summer. I don't even know which number it is, but it seems like they've been doing it
for at least the last 10 years.
Yeah. It was my first time seeing the Souls. Was it yours, Brett? I don't remember.
That was my second time.
Nice.
I thought it was my third. I could have sworn I saw them on Warped Tour, but they were not on any of the Warped Tours I went to.
Maybe you're thinking of the
Bayside, maybe.
The Bayside Souls. Yeah. Bayside was also there.
They were there. They killed it.
They were so
and I can't believe that
I love Jack.
Jack looks like
a wizard?
No, I'm blanking on his name from Ted Lasso.
Oh,
from the Independent.
Trent Krim.
Trent Krim. There it is.
He does look like Trent Krim, the Independent. Jack O'Shea's a wizard. I think really, that seeing him just cemented it. Long gray hair, magic on the guitar.
He is a wizard.
He's a wizard.
He was like blowing people's minds, like didn't know who Bayside was. Like people were stopping their conversations to like watch him solo. It was really cool to just watch from the back. Or from the bar, I should say.
That one dude, Lauren's cousin who was with us, he didn't know much, and it's like, this guy's an insane guitarist, like just wait. And he kept turning to me, like, holy shit, he really is an insane guitarist. Because Bayside's like the Scooby-Doo meme where it's like you pull the mask off, like you think they're just like an ordinary good emo band, then you pull the mask off and they're like a metal band hiding in the emo band,
just waiting to burst out.
Waiting to shred out,
get the shred
and
out.
We also got to see Screaming Females at the show. Shout out Jarrett, who's been on the podcast before. They did not disappoint. Their set just wasn't long enough, but that's not their fault. They were like the second band to play, so that's how it goes.
Extremely unreal guitar playing live too.
Yeah. Marissa is also a wizard. Is there a different name for a female wizard?
I don't think so.
Right? No, sorceress.
Wasn't Hermione in Harry Potter just a wizard?
Yeah, I think they're all just wizards.
All wizards.
All wizards. A lot of wizards at this show. The Souls are not wizards, but they're a lot of
witch?
Fun.
No. Wizard?
No.
No.
Witch is the opposite of magician.
No. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Let's just go with wizard.
Yeah. The amount of fantasy books I read, I really should know what's what. No, they're all wizards. The souls were great. We talked about this on the podcast. I gave up trying to like learn their songs for the show. So I went in knowing like the 4 or 5 I really liked, and then like kind of knowing all the others.
The other 33.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, I was kind of there for Bayside and Screaming Females. That's not to knock the Souls. They just have a lot of music, a lot of fast music, and I just gave up trying to like learn it for the show. But the songs I did know, they crushed. Pretty much everything after the acoustic songs.
Which that was their sound guy did them no favors during that acoustic set.
Yeah, a lot of squeals.
Which I haven't really heard at a show in a while, even like tiny shows. You know?
Yeah,
like
I don't know what was going
really
on.
Harsh squealing feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. But they didn't, I mean, they handled it like professionals, like they just powered like they didn't acknowledge it or anything. Because
they kept powering
I feel
through.
like if I was up there, I would stop and be like, whoa, what was that? And then just like take everyone out of it. It wouldn't be good. It'd be poor showmanship. Yeah, they did, the Manthem, Lean on Sheena, naming like their most popular songs, but those are the ones I know.
They covered the Menzingers.
Do me. They did cover the Menzingers, which was awesome. When they started doing that, I was gonna turn to you and start singing that song. And I stopped myself. Was that
song.
Yeah. I stopped myself because I didn't want to be the guy like, oh, I don't really know this song. Let me like pretend it's a band that I know more. But then it actually was.
From their split EP with the Menzingers.
Yes. If I was
an awesome EP.
Better fan, I would have known that was a thing. I haven't listened to that yet. I should, considering like we saw it live.
Really, it's only like 4 songs. So you can like power through it in like 15 minutes.
Like what probably. They each play 2 songs of the other.
Yes.
Yes.
Or no, they each have one new song and they cover the other for the other one.
Ah, that's cool.
Like Menzingers covered Kate is Great.
Kate is Great.
And the Shakes is from that too.
Nice. Did you see when we were there, there was a guy in front of us who was really into Bayside. And like not in like a lame way or anything. You could tell he knew every word. He was getting ready to like pump his fist and stuff, like
rip his girlfriend's hair out by mistake.
So he goes to like fist pump for like a chorus or something. And he really, put everything he had into it. Like he crouched his legs, he really shot his arm up, and his watch got caught on his girlfriend's hair in like her bun or ponytail or whatever, and he ripped her head off the ground so bad. I thought her hair was gonna come out of her skull. That
was bad.
It was so bad, but it was really funny. And she laughed. Credit to her for being a real one. She knew, like, clearly didn't do this on purpose, but
he wasn't being sick.
No, he did not have devotions and desires to rip his girlfriend's hair out. Yeah, that was really funny. I watched the whole thing happen because I was having a lot of fun just watching that guy. Because when you get someone really into it, it makes you really into it. And that guy was looking around, like when he turned around to sing and I also knew the words, I was so proud because I knew I was like making this guy happy.
He caught me a couple times where I didn't know the words. I was like,
yeah, like, oh, he's gonna be mad at me. You just fake it. You just ventriloquist it.
Just scream yeah at him.
Yeah. Or take a sip of your beer. There's all types of strategies to get away with not knowing every word to every song.
Just air guitar along with Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when all else fails, air guitar, air drum. It was a good day though. Good day in Asbury, for sure. We went to a punk rock flea market, which was a little underwhelming.
Except for the Phish shirt you got.
I did get a really cool Phish shirt at the punk rock flea market. Shout out to that guy who was violating copyright by selling shirts with Phish's logo on it. But it's a really cool, like, dark tie-dye, and like the logo's like bleeding down, like dripping paint. Very cool. I think I'm gonna wear it again to the garden this week.
I think you should.
Yeah. definitely. What else has been going on? We had well, speak because hold on, let me fix this transition. I got it. I'm so ready for this transition. We can go from Ocean Avenue of the Stone Pony to the new Yellowcard EP. Boom, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Totally.
As Yellowcard nailed it, which I made me eat my own words about them coming out of retirement.
This EP is really good.
It's very, very good.
It's so good. Childhood Eyes EP. I think it's 5 songs, like 20 minutes, little less, maybe 18. It sound like it really like captures all angles of their sound, from like the heavier sides to the acoustic song to finish it off, to just like the in the middle ones. Like obviously Yellowcard has their trademark with the violin, so you hear that and it
It's
automatically
subtle
feels like
though.
Yellowcard. It really is. Like
It's like in the background here.
yeah, there's not it's not in the forefront too much. There's that cool solo in where is it? Where is it? Hiding in the light. I think it's like the 3rd song maybe, but there's a violin and guitar solo going at the same time, and they're playing off each other. It's very cool. I think instrumentally that song might be the best. Got a cool guitar riff to start up, and their bass player, Josh Portman, he like loves playing high up on the neck on his bass. Like if you like remember back to like Way Away, the first verse, the bass plays up really high, and then second verse he goes back down. But like he is way high up on the neck for this whole EP. Like
He's way away.
he's way away, way up the neck. And it's awesome. There's so many just nice little bass fills. Does all this stuff to like mimic guitar, mimic the vocals. It's just yeah, like if you listen to the CP a few times, just try and focus on the bass for like a whole listen, and you won't be disappointed if that's your cup of tea.
Do love me some bass, so I'll definitely
Yeah.
keep that in mind on my next listen.
I think Honest from the Jump is like
That was my favorite one, I
an
think.
incredible vocal melody. Like they just have this way of like making you feel like nostalgic with their music sometimes. And I don't
They
know
laid
if
it on
it's
pretty
yeah.
heavy here too with the nostalgia, but like it's not like it didn't detract from it, but like they were definitely plucking the right strings there.
Yeah. It didn't feel like cringy at any point. Because if you remember like last year, like every 2000s band that put out a new album had a song about the early days, and it
Which
got
we
a
liked
little
for a little
like
bit.
yeah, like none of them were bad songs, but it got a little like eye roll at times. Like it felt like there was some sort of contract where like all these bands have to reference like the good old days. And while this album definitely does that, it doesn't feel like it hits you over the head with it. Like I don't know. Like the last song, The Places Will Go, would probably be like the heaviest on that. And I couldn't tell if that was a song about like love lost, like as in a person, or if it was about the band.
Could have gone either way. It's like it all
Yeah.
depends on your interpretation. Unless he did an interview and flat out said what it's
Yeah.
about, which I don't think I saw.
Because there was one line that was like, now like you have a ring or something.
He did say that. So yeah.
But even that, like, you could kind of take it as a metaphor if you want. I don't know. For a band that was supposedly broken up and like maybe wasn't the smoothest operating band in their heyday, as successful as they were, this song kind of gave me the vibe of like looking back on it fondly and being glad that like they can still do it now. I don't know.
And Chris
That's how
Carrabba
I
was
want to
there.
listen. Yeah, he was. And much like the violin we talked about, he wasn't like the forefront of the song, but he was like singing quietly behind like Ryan like the whole time.
He like pops in, I think, for the first time in the second verse, and he's just there like the
Yeah.
rest of the song. But he's just like doing harmonies pretty much.
Yeah, this album is definitely worth a headphone listen, like a good headphone listen, because there's a lot of like subtleties going on that are really nice to hear that you might not get if you're just like playing it out like your phone or something. You know what else was kind of cool about this EP was that the first voice on it was not Yellowcard.
On 3 Minutes More?
Yeah. Like it's got the Ice Nine Kills feature. I forget that guy's name, but I feel like the first
no, it's Pierce the Veil, right?
Oh yeah. I don't know why I mix those guys up. They're not
They're with Bayside. That's
yeah.
You're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, because of Metallica, I might be thinking of them, which we'll talk about later because I somehow got tickets to that. So I'm going. Yeah. Pierce the Veil. But yeah, like I don't know. You put out an album. I'm sure other people have done it, but Kanye comes to mind too with Life of Pablo. Like the first rapping on that album was like Chance, not Kanye. Although he sings, but like and then this like Pierce the Veil opens up. What's that guy's name? I feel like I should know.
Vic Fuentes?
Yes. Good job, Brett.
Boom.
Good job. It was just the two features?
Just the two.
Just the two.
For now. See if they do a full length down the road.
Yeah, that's the other thing, which I feel like there's been so many EPs lately. And they're good. Like, can these bands not just write 5 more songs? Why?
So like a callback to Bayside too?
It is.
The 3-song EPs.
It is a callback to
Blue
Bayside.
and Red.
But at the same time, like if your EP's so good, it leaves me wishing you wrote 5 more songs. Then you did it right.
You did a good job. Yeah.
But I don't know. Are they just so impatient to put something out that they don't want to write more? Did they not think they could write 5 songs as strong? Like, I'd love to know the thought process behind an EP. Do they choose it right away, or do they start writing and then think, you know what, this would work better as just 5?
Guess we got to put a request in the Bayside.
Yeah, we could try Yellowcard too. Just hope they don't listen back to
after I don't listen to that episode
when we trash talk them because we didn't understand a movie reference. Oops.
But okay. I'd also defend what I said because I'd like, you guys honestly did go out. Like so many bands dropped the ball when they call it quits, and like you guys ended on a perfect note, and like you had nothing left to prove.
Yeah,
that's why I thought it was a mistake to come back, but you made me eat my words with this EP. So
yeah, I think that's
a
nice little backhanded switcheroo you got going on right there.
Right. I mean, like it did sound like the time away. Like I don't know if they don't walk away, I'm not sure we get an EP that's this good. Like they sounded completely refreshed and like full of energy again.
Yeah, this didn't feel like they were trying to come back. It just felt like they were making songs, which is something I always think about with like this class of musicians. Like as much as I like the Story of the Year album, it gave me kind of vibes of them like wanting to like revisit like the good old days. I don't know.
In the wake of Determination,
that album. Yeah. That's the next one. This was the Page Avenue. No, I don't know if there's a next one. But yeah, just a little too heavy on the Page Avenue callbacks, but you know, do what you gotta do, get paid. I'd still see you live. I mean, I didn't, but I would have liked to. While we're on this class, Hawthorne Heights put out a new song that is pretty good. I didn't get to listen to it a whole lot, but they put out an Instagram clip saying like this is by far the heaviest thing we've ever done, which I think kind of says a lot. You know, they kind of fall into a little like you could say they were like whiny at the beginning, even though I fucking love the Silence in Black and White and whatever the other one is.
You Were Lonely.
Yeah, thank you. Even the one after that with Saying Sorry was good. But and they always had like screams and cool guitars is what I'm trying to get at. But this feels like they've been touring with Silverstein for like the past 5 to 8 years and took some notes because it's really fucking heavy. Not just vocally, but guitar wise too. Definitely worth giving a listen if you're into that stuff. It's called The Storm with 3 dots before it, but looks like there's 2 other songs out. So I've kind of been sleeping on this, but hopefully they have an album coming, not just an EP.
Wasn't like their last album decent from what I remember?
Yes.
A lot of people liked it when it came out.
I don't know if we were started this podcast by the time it came out, because otherwise I think we would have listened to it. But I had a friend send it to me last summer. The Rain Just Follows Me. Yeah, 2021.
That's it. Yep.
A lot of cool features. Anthony Ranieri's on it. William Ryan Key's on it. So like everyone we've been talking about this episode. Yeah, that like snuck by, but it was good. But very different from the single they have out right now. So I'm here for heavy late career Hawthorne Heights. I'm all about it. Keep touring with Silverstein. I'll keep going.
But come to New Jersey.
Yeah. Just not in November.
How about the first 2 weeks of November?
What is going on with the early November of shows? Because it is.
Does no one want to do like December shows this
out
year?
Of control. There are 3 shows I want to go to, all on November 4th. We were already committed to the Front Bottoms, but there's a Menzinger's Microwave show, which is borderline like sell my Front Bottoms tickets and go to that.
Cloud Nothings.
And I mean, no, there's too many people we have committed to the Front Bottoms, but man, that is a really big one. And Armor for Sleep is touring their first album on that day also. Dreams.
I was going to ask you, is that because I remember like when we had Ben on, I went down the rabbit hole, but I didn't go back to that first album. That one's really good too.
It is really good. I don't think it's as good as What to Do When You're Dead. I don't, but it's a solid album. Like for me, I always just binged What to Do When You're Dead. I never listened to that first one too much.
Is it heavy too?
It's kind of in the same vein.
Same ilk.
Maybe slightly less heavy. Honestly, like didn't spend so much time with it to really know. But all those shows are happening in New York City on November 4th. So that's a little ridiculous. Then we have
that one though. I was okay missing because this is gonna make me feel old, but I was at the 10-year The Room's Too Cold show for the early November. Now this is the 20th anniversary they're doing with Armor for Sleep.
Oh, that explains why they're playing when they're playing. Yeah.
All makes sense now.
It does all make sense. Because then we have Hotelier Foxing the following week. And then like 3 days before that, Hot Mulligan and Spanish Love Songs just announced the show.
That's a great show.
And I've been swearing for the past like 3 years that next time Hot Mulligan tours around here, I'll go no matter what. It's just a lot of shows in a 1 week span.
Yeah, but I can do it.
I might. It depends if someone wants to come with me. Also have some beef with Spanish Love Songs. They're advertising their new album as in big letters. I've seen it on Instagram and Spotify. The Wait Is Over. Are like, and then it's their album. And then it says like August 25th. So it's like the wait isn't over. We're still waiting. You can't tell me that because multiple times I've scrolled past. I'm like, oh, did this come out already? Like I thought it was later. And then I get tricked.
Say the wait is almost over, and then it would be okay.
Then it would be perfectly fine. But to just say the wait is over when it's not is just cruel. So I don't know. Talk to their marketing person.
Very good things about it though. So I'm really excited to hear it.
Oh yeah, me too. That's why I keep getting trolled by their ad and it's frustrating me. But yeah, I guess we'll have that and then we'll have Front Bottoms like next week, I think. Next Friday. Or this Friday.
Is it this Friday?
Hell yeah. I think it is.
That's a great surprise. I thought it was next week.
That is a great surprise. And we'll have plenty of time to listen to it. because we'll run an interview next week, and then nice. Oh, I'm excited for that. Very excited for that. Very excited for Spanish love songs. Good stuff. Good stuff is ahead.
The wait is almost over.
Did you look up the ad? Does it say almost?
No, I'm just saying right now. Whew. The wait is almost over.
Be eating my words again, same as the Yellowcard ads. I gotta be careful criticizing advertisements until I really look at them closely. Yeah, lots of good stuff ahead and some good stuff behind. So we're gonna talk about Phish for a little, but before you turn off the podcast and talk about the whole day, not just nerd out on the band, which we'll also do. But after Phish talk in 5 minutes or so, we will do book club part 1. Minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah, we will do part 1 of Where Are Your Boys Tonight. So for all our friends reading along with us, definitely stick around or skip ahead to that, because I'm very excited to talk about that.
Yeah, we've been sitting on it for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and we kind of get into it in our interview next week. But anyway, we went to Phish, Brett's first outdoor Phish show. We went to the Mann in Philly.
Man.
Did not play You Enjoy Myself, even though it was a really good guess because the venue name is in the song.
But you might get it tomorrow.
I might get it tomorrow. It was just a classic. It was a classic Phish day. We had a nice drive to Philly. It was only really hour 15, hour 20. We packed the cooler, get to the lot. The lot is if I didn't have tickets, I think I would still just go to the lot and hang out.
You could still hear, and they weren't really checking if you had tickets when you drove in.
No,
they said they were going to, but they didn't.
It was also free to park, which is pretty nice. But I just love everything about it. We get there and they're directing us where to park, and they're putting us next to this car that has chairs set up. They're hanging out, maybe cracked a beer already. I don't remember. And for whatever reason, maybe because of where we live or whatever, but my instinct is always they're going to be why are these assholes parking next to us? Which is a ridiculous thing to think in a parking lot. I don't know why my mind would go there. And I was wrong anyway, but it's always there's some level of the defenses go up, and just wasn't even the case. The guy stood up, waved us in. We get out. They're oh, what's up? How you doing? And then we just talked about shows and drank beers, and we're best friends with them within 20 minutes.
And that's I feel like you don't get that at every single show. It's, I don't want to say it's exclusive to Phish. I'm sure it's the same for other jam bands, but I don't at least from concerts I've gone to, I've never really had something like that where you literally walk around and you can be friends with anybody there and have a conversation with anybody there, and it feels like everyone's just there to have a good time and not be a dick, which is nice.
I try to take that to other shows, because I mean, if you're both there to see the same band, you have something in common, so it should be simple enough to just get to your seat or your parking lot and be oh, have you seen these guys before or something like that. But it doesn't always, not everyone always wants to chit chat, which is fine. But
who's gonna you're gonna, the person you park next to, they're gonna let you pull up chairs and give you beers, and you give them beers back. And
we were trading beers, trading stories, using their garbage can, because we did forget a garbage bag.
We did.
Also,
one thing we forgot.
I need to out you, Brett, here. Brett is really bad at buying shirts.
Very bad. Very indecisive.
We need a support group for him, or other people like you who might be really bad at buying shirts. Maybe we can help figure it out. Brett really wanted to spend $25 on a shirt, and everywhere on the lot. So the way Phish does it is just a bunch of random vendors who follow the band just set up a shitload of tents, and a city forms. It's really ridiculous.
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
I did get a koozie.
Did get a koozie.
Koozie Greenberg.
Koozie Greenberg. after Susie Greenberg. It's a great koozie, and it's a green koozie, so it's appropriate too. Yeah, I just feel like if you said to any of these vendors, like, how about 25? Or I got 25, they probably would have been like, yeah, sure.
I didn't try that.
You
I'm a
never
terrible
wanted to,
bargainer.
never wanted to pass the puck back. It's okay.
I could have next time.
Next time.
I did go home and order the Wayne's World Simple shirt, so I'm waiting for that to come.
Nice. That guy's seats were like right
you left
behind
out the
us.
part where you surprised me
Oh yeah,
with a shirt on the way there. So I didn't go home without a shirt.
It's true. It's true. I Oprah'd Brett. I got him a Phish shirt because one of their songs talks about a dude named Brett. So I got him a Brett is in the bathtub shirt and put it under the passenger seat in my car. And halfway down was like, oh, reach under the seat. And you got Oprah'd. I've always wanted to Oprah someone. I never got to Oprah anyone before. It's very fun. She gets to give away like cars and shit. I was that excited over a shirt.
It was better. I would have taken the Phish shirt over a car at that point. So
yeah, car's a lot of maintenance. You got to pay insurance too. That's kind of a burden. How would I fit a car?
Never thought about that part.
How would I fit a car under the seat in my car?
Well, she did it with keys, right?
Yeah. Makes more sense. She didn't put actual cars under.
Climb down off the car. This is yours.
You may not have noticed, but you've been sitting on top of a car this whole time. Whoa, all of us? How did I miss that? I didn't feel like I was looking down this whole time. Oh no. But yeah, Shakedown Street was wild. The Nitrous Mafia is out of control. They're just
that was a whole experience.
Nitrous balloons are just everywhere. And yeah, it's just laughing gas, whippets, whatever you want to call it. But for anyone who's been to shows, you know exactly what it's like. And if you haven't, it's very jarring. It's not the best look to just have those balloons and canisters everywhere.
If you're there with like a kid, it's probably very confusing. Like, oh no, those aren't fun balloons.
Oh, they're fun.
They're fun, but not
for you.
Not for you. They're not making balloon animals either.
Unless we're gonna take a wisdom tooth out, then you can have one.
It's called hippie crack, right? That's the street term.
Yeah. Because it hits you while you're inhaling it, but once it's gone, it's very fleeting. It's not like smoking weed or anything. It's just like a huge rush of laughing gas, and then it's just gone. That's why people buy like 5 balloons at once. It's a good thing I didn't bring
5 for 20.
Good thing I didn't bring more cash because shit is nice. No, I would
been
never.
In a hot air balloon festival, pretty much.
Allegedly. Yeah, those balloons, something else. But no balloons inside. Inside the venue was very nice. It's kind of like PNC. It's nicer. Actually, we learned it's older than PNC, but it's nicer. If you picture PNC having like the concrete band shell, this at the Mann was like all like wood. It was really cool.
And I feel like the sound might have been better there too.
The sound was really good. Trey's guitar tone was unreal.
For the 23-minute Carini.
Sometimes I wonder with those things. Like people love long jams, and when you get a really long jam, it's cool. But in the moment, and maybe I was just tired, but I was like, what are they doing here? Like I felt like they like kind of meandered at times. And then they would reel it in, like, Sopranos Godfather. Like every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. It's exactly what kept happening in that jam.
Yeah, they sped it up and then they crash right back down.
Yeah. But I see so many people on the forums like, oh, that was like the best jam of tour. I'm like, was it? Like I got kind of bored at it for a minute.
I turned to you and you're like, I don't think they know where they are right now.
Sometimes Trey gets stuck on a riff and I'm like, all right, dude, like, let's go, move on. But I have to listen back. For sure.
I want to listen to that 30-minute Fuego from the other night too. Like that one had to be something.
Had to be Fuego.
We got
a lot of cool stuff. there was, yeah, it's so weird. Like when you're there and it's happening, it feels like the most special, cool, like unreal thing ever. And then you try to like explain it to someone and you just sound like an idiot. It's really hard to.
I think I'm starting to realize what you mean, like when you talk about Phish to non-Phish people. It's like because like when because like Sandra said like you and Nick are like speaking like a different language when you talk about Phish. I have no idea what you guys are saying.
It's true with between song names and like, yeah, it's really weird.
I'm like calling out like different dates. Like, oh, on this day they did it this way, and then
Yeah, that was another thing. Like when we were tailgating, the one guy was talking about like a show he went to in the 90s, and you're like, oh, that Hampton show, like, man, they played such a good cover of this. And he's like, right, dude. And like, you weren't there, he was there, and you both
yeah,
know it just as well. And like, I love shit like that.
it's on Spotify.
Yeah. And
Hampton comes
oh,
alive,
we got to mention Rhombus Girl. Oh
and
my
then it's actually
goodness.
on Phish.net. Like, there's an actual page dedicated to the rhombus.
This girl next to us, she took away our fandom, which was very jarring. You can't just take away someone's fandom without asking. It's
No,
very
especially when
rude.
she's only been listening since 2000.
Well, she's got me beat by 13 years. But she's like, "Do you guys know about the rhombus?" And we're like, "No, I don't think so." And like she was like incredulous that like we didn't know what this was. I thought it was some sort of venue. It's literally just like a statue of a rhombus at Princeton. And apparently the band wrote one of their songs there. But she was like, I mean, she was wasted. She was funny, but she was going on and on about it.
Yeah,
And even one of the guys was with was like, no one gives a fuck about the rhombus.
that was
Shut up.
great.
Like, thank you, dude. I don't know her well enough to be mean, but I was
It's
thinking
like
that.
you could be mean, I can't be mean.
Yeah, I could be like teasingly mean, but I'm not gonna tell someone to shut up ever, really. Yeah, yeah, it was fun. When the balloons were going off at night, the guy just goes, ah, sounds like capitalism. Oh, and cracked me up. That was a great line.
Those are some fun guys who were next, dude.
Yeah, yeah, good dudes. I don't know any of their names, but good
No,
people. Philly guys or
they definitely
South
don't remember
Jersey.
our names either. So,
No, no. But you know,
but I am
like
glad we
passing
did that.
ships. Yeah.
I was gonna say I am glad we did the Mann show. Even though you're going tomorrow night, I'm not doing the garden this time around. But I'm glad I got to experience like my first outdoor show because I think it is a better experience because of the tailgate. Like you don't really get that tailgate for the garden,
No.
unfortunately.
You can like tomorrow I'm gonna like meet up with some friends at Stout and like
Just still fun,
it's
but it's not.
yeah. It's different than just like feeling like you're out in the Wild West with no rules and like just like in this weird limbo for a few hours before the show.
Which is nice. It's like a nice little world you're living in. I see why they have as big of a following as they have because it's like it really is like a nice special community, and I feel like you don't really get it unless you're there.
Yeah. Everyone just hopped up on nitrous.
Yeah, laughing at
Real
everything.
special. No, it is all walks of life. It's just it's a good time. It's a good time. I wish they were doing more summer shows, but or more outdoor shows, but
Yeah, weird to
whatever.
get a garden run in the summer. I know they did
Yeah.
like the baker's dozen, but it's still a little weird to me. But I will try to go again New Year's week.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Score New Year's Eve tickets, it'll pay for all the other days.
Whatever ones you want to go to.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not trying the first night though. I feel like they need to get cooking a little bit for those ones.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to get a warm up night in, but you never know. You never know. Is it book club time?
I think it is.
Oh man. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Where are your boys tonight? Chris Payne, The Oral History of Emo's Mainstream Explosion, 1999 to 2008. Part 1. We are here, GA Book Club. So psyched. So psyched.
It's an absolutely incredible book. and we're probably going to power through this. Well, you did already power through the whole thing, but
we haven't even scratched the surface yet, and it's already so wildly interesting. This whole beginning scene of just how everything starts and knowing how big it all gets is really cool. Like they're very like all the stuff about like New York and how like Giuliani wanted to like clean up New York during the late 90s, and he implemented curfews and started like shutting down clubs earlier, so like the whole scene moved to the suburbs, and because of that it trended younger, and that's how like it kicked a lot of this off, this type of music that trends towards younger kids and might be a little more emo, like vulnerable, hard on your sleeve kind of stuff.
In New Jersey basements.
That's right. Like New Jersey is like feels like the forefront. They each chapter was dedicated to a different area, and it was all kind of happening around the same time, which is also really cool. Like you had New Jersey scene, the Long Island scene, the Florida scene, and the Chicago scene. I think those are the big four. I don't know if I'm missing any, but
well, we're not missing any, but the book might be.
Yeah, well, there's still,
but there's only so much you could do,
and there's still more to get to, but yeah, just like the whole intro I thought was very interesting, like the early days, um like Benny booking shows at the Manville Elks Lodge at like 15 years old. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, the whole New Brunswick scene had to be like absolutely incredible. Like imagine having like your favorite band like in your face.
I can't, like the closest we gotten with that is like
Less than Jake.
Starland shows, or yeah, Less Than Jake. Like we've done the screaming lyrics at the band thing a lot, and it's been a lot of fun, but there's always that disconnect of stage and crowd. And what they got in these basement shows was you're all on the same level in the same spot. Like it's just an extra layer that we'll really like never get to experience probably.
And we just missed it too.
I know. We were just like 5 years older. Could have like, yeah, been in on that more. But like there was a story about like Lifetime was playing a New Brunswick show, and all the sweat of the people condensated on the pipes in the basement and then just started like literally raining on people during their show.
Which is crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Get a lot of Jeff Rickley of Thursday telling the stories of like booking shows in these basements, and like it happened like on the campus of Rutgers, which is also crazy. Like that's where like Midtown formed.
Yeah, wasn't it like, was it like Thursday in Midtown? Well, they have the story of Midtown forming, which was also pretty cool. But I think it was Thursday talking about how they wanted to put on songs through Ruck songs, wanted to put on shows through Rutgers and through their music program and everything. And Rutgers, or the people in charge of that club, were listening, and they're like, yeah, we're never gonna play music like this. Like they're like, you could play like They Might Be Giants or like things like that, but which I don't think I'm familiar with that band really. I just think I just heard of them. But so whatever. They were like, all right, then like let's just do it ourselves. Like we can just put on these shows in basements around here ourselves. And that's what they did. And like it exploded.
Just found a house with a basement and just took off from there.
Yeah. And like it's so close to home. Like they're talking about like the grease trucks at Rutgers. Like we've hung out at those exact trucks. Like it's just crazy. Like to read about all this going on like in our backyard just like a few years before us is just it's so cool. Like it's cool anyway, and then to just have that like close to homeness for some of this just makes it feel that much more special.
And like Saves the Day too, like there's a lot of like Through Being Cool early on here, and like that's such an incredible album. Like they're talking about like putting on like the record release show. It might have been Benny, I forgot if it was him or not, but like with the Get Up Kids.
Yeah.
Or did I just skip a chapter there?
No, you're
2,
there.
but we're all just doing the beginning here. So.
Yeah. We'll do like the first 2 chapters were Jersey, and then we go to Long Island next. But yeah, my favorite part about Through Being Cool was when they talked about the album cover shoot.
That
How
was
they
a really fun story. Like I was like flipping through my vinyl, like I was like, oh, I know who all these people are now.
Oh, that's awesome. You have the vinyl because they were talking about other pictures. Like, was it Gabe? Supporta,
He's like
who's
making
like,
out with his girlfriend.
yeah, but that's
Yeah,
not on like the front cover, so like I couldn't see it. I was trying to Google and then I just like gave up. But
the guy from I think is The Wire is on the back
oh
cover.
yeah. Yeah, I forget who. Yeah, he's just randomly on the back.
And the best part
Gabe,
is like oh, go ahead.
was it Gabe like wanted to like hook up with this girl, so like he made like the cover like her looking at him and him looking at her or something.
Oh, it was Brian, the drummer of Saves the Day.
That's it.
Yeah. And like I think Taryn was her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
I like how they got like Through Being Cool from a Devo song. Like I never realized that's where the album name came from. Like Devo of all bands.
That is it's pretty crazy.
And then this was like the same chapter where like the Get Up Kids show up to the Manville Elks Lodge in their tour bus.
Yeah. Yep. The tour bus chapter. And they like got shit for it, but at the same time they were like, we're doing shows like constantly and we're traveling. Like we need a bus. This isn't like us trying to big time anyone. We just like it's practical.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the first signs of like, oh, this is getting bigger. And I also like my one of my favorite parts of these first couple chapters was Midtown and Gabe talking about how they approached the band like they wanted to get their EP. They had a 5-song EP and they wanted to get it in as many people's hands as possible. They wanted to have shirts and different merch ready at their show all to go. I think it was Jeff Rickley talking about how like people didn't approach it that way. Like it used to be like, oh, we're not big enough to sell shirts yet. Or instead, Midtown was like, what would a big successful band do? Let's do all that right away. And I just love that approach because you could translate that to anything. I've thought about it like even for this podcast when we started, I was like, I'm not going to put episodes on YouTube. And then I thought, well, what do big successful podcasts do? They put episodes on YouTube. So why wait? Just like, and obviously it's not exactly the same, but I just like that idea of don't limit yourself because of your own idea of yourself. Like have a goal and do everything you can to like make that happen. And I just thought it was real cool, like because it wasn't cool to be ambitious, like you're in a band, you're supposed to not care. Whereas they were like, no, we want to be huge. We don't want to just play New Brunswick. We want to travel the country. And I love that approach. And even if Midtown didn't quite get that big, Gabe like never let go of that approach. And he most certainly did with between other projects and just like never giving up. It's just so cool to like
Cobra
hear
Starship
that.
was the other one, right?
Yeah. And I think he's been in and out of like other projects too. He's just a hustler and like you love to see it.
Speaking of hustling, the thing that might have blown my mind the most was like when they were talking about this record release show. So it was Saves the Day, Get Up Kids at the drive-in in Midtown for $10
in a basement.
No, at the Manville Elks Lodge.
Oh my god, same shit.
That's amazing. Pretty much a basement.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was one of our goals is to try and find the best tour mentioned in this book, and that is a very strong contender.
I feel like I haven't gotten to the other big ones yet.
No,
I just started part 2, so
yeah, nice.
But we're still on part 1.
Yes, yeah. So then you have the Long Island scene, which was also very cool because it was everything going on in Jersey, also going on in Long Island. And there was a quote that I loved. I forget who said it, but it's along the lines of like there was this rivalry between New Jersey and Long Island when really like they were all exactly the same, which just kind of cracks me up because like it's not far off. Like there is like this rivalry, or like, oh, Long Island out there, like that's not us, but like it's definitely like very similar like demos. And like Christian McKnight was the guy planning shows out there, and then Ricky Saporta, Gabe's brother, was the one coordinating shows in Jersey. So they would then work together, like, what bands are you having come through Jersey? Because then we could have them come through Long Island next. And like,
yeah, they teamed up.
Despite like even maybe the rivalry was more music wise, like between bands, but the fact that these guys had like the wherewithal to talk together and plan this stuff is just really cool.
And McKnight like dropped out of high school to book shows and go to shows.
Yeah, good for him. And like that, we got introduced to Silent Majority through this, which like has
what an
been
incredible
awesome.
album that is. Like it doesn't, it has like no listens on Spotify, and I feel bad. Like they literally like just missed the boat, because like Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, Movie Life, they pretty much did take a lot of their sound from this band.
Yeah, and they don't deny it either.
No.
Check out
Bayside.
Life of a Spectator is the album name by Silent Majority. The whole album is good. The guitars are killer.
I've still been listening to it like at least once a week since like reading this chapter.
Yeah, I've definitely been on that a bunch. I need to go down. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much, but I need to go down the Dashboard rabbit hole too, because I always kind of wrote them off earlier.
I'm currently doing that.
And this book actually explains all the people like me who felt that way, but we'll get to that in like a minute. But yeah,
Eddie Reyes, little quiet Long Island Forrest Gump over here.
just oh my god, he had his hands in everything. He started the Movie Life. Like what?
I didn't know that.
That's like, insane.
I always thought it was Vinny.
He started it, and I don't think he was even in it for like a month. By the way, it was literally like he started it and then left. Like boom, there goes a major band. They actually just announced a couple shows too, or they
Matt
might have
and
just
Sean
even
are going to
just played one.
see 40-hour Train Back to Penn played in full in
Awesome.
August.
That's sick. That's gonna be a great time.
But that part was a little sad, because like he talked about like how he would pretty much band jump until like he formed Taking Back Sunday. He's like, I think I'm gonna stick out this one for a while, and like then seeing he just like recently got I think he got kicked out. I don't think that was voluntary.
Yeah, they were fuzzy on it, but yeah, kind of seems like he wasn't in the good spot to be in the band right now. But the way Taking Back Sunday goes through members and welcomes people back, I feel like we probably haven't seen the last of Eddie. Hopefully,
I feel like we can do our map for like part 2, probably the Taking Back Sunday map.
Oh yeah, I have it written out.
Member map.
I have it written out. Yeah, all the early like Brand New Taking Back Sunday stuff in this was great. Like
Ranieri almost being in Brand New.
Yeah, and like Jesse Lacey being in Taking Back Sunday as a bass player, and then like John Nolan talking about how like they started doing this call and response thing. Like he'd sing, I'd sing, he'd sing, I sing. Not with Jesse, with Adam, but like just seeing it, hearing it come together, and yeah, and me like there's another part like especially as like a Brand New fan, like them talking about how Brand New was the band that was always practicing. Like they said, like kind of made it sound like yeah, like they were always practicing, refining their instruments, and they made it seem like Taking Back Sunday was more figuring out as they went. And like both paths wound up working out fine for both bands, at least, you know, musically. But it's just interesting to like hear that contrast and see it work for both ways. And Taking Back Sunday always came off as a more like fun band, and Brand New was like the serious dark band. Like
but you could tell like each one of them was an excellent musician.
Oh yeah.
As Taking Back Sunday, I don't really think that.
Yeah. And
no offense to them, but
Vinny Caruana has the quote saying, he's like, yeah, I thought Taking Back Sunday was horrible the first time I heard them. He's like, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I love those quotes. Like he has a bunch and Jeff Rickley has a bunch where they weren't afraid to say like
they're very blunt.
Yeah, because we were talking to was it Matt that we were texting with? Yeah. Who put this idea out there. A friend of the pod, Matt, was saying how like do people kind of look back on this stuff with like rose-colored glasses, where there's a lot of in this book like, oh, the first time I saw Taking Back Sunday, it was magical. Like the whole room just knew we were witnessing history, and it's like,
I knew
really,
they were gonna
bro?
be big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of that. So now I'm paying attention to a lot of that, but I'm also paying attention to the Vinnie Caruanas and Jeff Rickleys, who aren't afraid to say they stunk at first. So yeah,
It's
there's a
like I didn't
lot.
get it. I still don't get it.
There's a lot of Mikey Way saying that something special was happening. He saw a lot of special things
He
happening.
said that about so many bands.
Yeah, but he just comes off as like an innocent little puppy, where I almost believe him.
He's like
But
saves the day playing Stay Where You Are. Like that was incredibly special.
I
That's a
believe him.
part two part, but
I believe he thought all those things were special. Team Mikey.
I could see him being like a puppy.
Yeah. And then yeah, Long Island chapter wrapped up with that. Oh, there was
The
one other part I
Ranieri
want to touch
quote.
on. Well, the silent majority show, like during that blizzard and like all that crazy shit going
That
on.
was very confusing because like it was a blizzard, but then like no one missed the show.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that many people wanted to see them. Like there was that quote somewhere in there about how like they had
How
thousands of
dangerous it
kids at
was.
a show in Long Island, and they're like, we just didn't know how to extend that to the rest of the country, like pre-internet. Like they're a band who's like, if 1,000 people around here like us and want to see us, like chances are there's 1,000 people in a lot of other places that would feel the same, and they just were too early or couldn't figure it out or both. And like you really got to feel for them, but
And the bass
it
player would join Bayside.
yes. And they did one reunion show when Rob from Iron Cheek passed away.
They only come back together for like benefits.
Yeah.
Like they don't do it for themselves. They do it to raise money
Yeah.
for some kind of cause.
Good for them. Good for them.
Definitely listen to that album if you've never
Yeah.
listened to it
Life of
before.
a Spectator. I didn't have a whole lot on Chicago. It was a lot about like
Race Trader.
Race Trader and like early Pete Wentz days. I had no idea Pete Wentz was half Jamaican.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
that's that's pretty cool slash random.
It was cool to see like his hustle a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah, because they mention it like how like the Race Trader stuff and Manny, whatever, I don't remember. I didn't write his last name down, but like they were very like outspoken politics, like, and this is like late 90s, like before this was like a thing. Like think like as leftist woke as you can go now, they were doing like before it was cool.
Yeah.
And but he made a point to say like he's like Pete believed in all this stuff, like there was no doubt. He's like, but Pete didn't care to be like on the front lines like we were. Like you could tell he wanted more as far as like his like hopes and dreams or whatever, ambitions. But I don't know, just thought it was interesting. Like another one kind of like Gabe, where like you could tell this person's hustle and drive to succeed is not
They're
gonna
gonna go
waver.
somewhere.
Yeah. Like if it's not with this band, it's gonna be with another band. Like they're not giving up.
That's also I feel like this chapter did touch on like the big like straight edge and like vegan part of the scene.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would not have fit in with that back then. Like I like the occasional burger, like the occasional beer. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
Where's
I know some people take it super seriously.
where's the moderationism scene?
Yeah.
Like give me that one.
Moderation edge.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even like realize how big a thing straight edge was until I read this book. But I do work with a few kids who are in punk bands and are also straight edge. But like I don't know, I just didn't know it was like a thing. But I loved there was one quote somewhere in there where it was like, we were straight edge, so we didn't drink, so we'd cause trouble, which I just found to be the most hilarious statement.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we went to some like frat and like peed on all their coats, like just like different random shit. It's like, yeah,
That was bizarre.
we won't drink or eat meat, but we're gonna fuck with people pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like you can't I'd rather you just have a beer.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Also, like, what's the band name? Like, um, that Pete was in with Tim from Rise Against.
The Arma Angeles.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't think they ever mentioned Tim's name, did they?
I feel like he was only in it briefly from what I was looking at on
but
Wikipedia.
he was in that band. And there's pictures of him if you Google Arma Angelus. Say it one more time.
Arma Angelus.
Angelus. Yeah. That's what I meant.
But I'm not sure if they go back to them at some point.
Yeah, no, I think it was just
It
like
was right to Fall Out Boy after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets real heavy on Fall Out Boy, but like Fall Out Boy is the pinnacle of like there for every step of the scene to like heights that no one expected. It's like them and My Chem were like the big ones.
Yeah, they went away and like I think it was 08 for like until we were seniors in college and they came back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's around where stuff happens. I don't want to spoil things. Yeah, but the Chicago Pete Wentz stuff was definitely cool. And then it goes on to South Florida, and that's where it becomes like Dashboard City.
Which was wild. Like I didn't know, like I have like a whole new respect for Dashboard, I think, thanks to like these two chapters.
100%. Because I always thought like, oh, like, and they literally say this, but like, what's this like whiny kid with a guitar? Like this is like pussy shit. Like, like when we were 12 years old or whatever. Like, and that's what people like thought. And he was very adamant. He's like, no, like to me, this is punk rock. Like, I want to sing these songs and like come up here. So like, fuck you. Like, I don't care. And like, that's so admirable to just like, because he said he's like, I'd have drinks thrown at me and like people harass me and stuff. But like, to persevere and like acknowledge that there were people who did really want to see him instead of focusing on the ones who didn't, like, that's not easy to do.
Especially when you have a crippling fear of being on stage.
Yeah. What was that like just randomly thrown in? Like, yeah, I have extreme stage fright, so I kept performing. Like, damn, dude, that's amazing. And like he was in Further Seems
Further Seems
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah. And he was writing like Dashboard songs, and they're like, look, man, like we just want you to like sing, like not do this stuff. So he made Dashboard his own thing because he was literally writing these songs on the dashboard of his car. And it just took off. Like he talks about going to like North Carolina or something like that, and like people were singing all the words to his
Thanks
songs.
to
And he's like,
Napster.
yeah, he's like, how did you hear about me? Like, how do you know these songs? Like, oh, like Napster. And he's like, thank you to whoever put it on Napster because like it changed my life. If that didn't happen, who knows?
He had like the opposite reaction of Metallica, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was their drummer. He would later become their drummer, this guy Mike Marsh. But he's like, the first time I heard it, I said, what is this pussy shit?
That's how we all looked at them, kind of like as like a kind of like a girly band.
Yeah, exactly. But like he was a band's band too. Like it talks about like Newfound Glory,
Like
like
they love
wanting to
him.
take him out, and like I
Midtown.
think Thursday. Yeah, he played on like a Thursday Midtown show, which is like another one to try and like put on the list for pretty crazy shows.
That one was like where they were standing on top of tables too. Like the stage is made of
Yeah,
college tables.
yeah. Insane how like all this was just like going on at these random venues. And he was very smart with like signing and booking, Like was it Drive Through is what Newfound Glory was on, and they wanted to sign him. And he wasn't
That was
like
intense.
totally against it, but like he was talking to like his lawyer or his legal counsel, whether it was like his parents' friend or something like that. And they wanted like over 10 years and like all this, and like he wasn't really getting anything for his records. And then
Said the length was too long, right?
yeah. And then someone came through from do you remember the label he signed to?
Vagrant.
Yes, thank you. Vagrant, and they offered
Is
him
it
a
Bob
percent.
Egan? I think it's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he offered him a percent of sales from his records, which apparently like was unheard of at the time. And he went with that, and like it was like kind of a tense situation, but you
Yeah, like
really gotta you just gotta give these bands credit who are willing to like see the forest for the trees or whoever that
yeah.
expression goes. Because it's easy to see like, oh, a contract, sweet, sign. And like he didn't do that.
He thought it out. But I was always wondering why like Swiss Army Romance and the other one is called where'd it go? I wrote it down.
I don't even know.
That's like a really long name. I'll just say the album after Swiss Army Romance. But like it came out like a year later. I was always wondering why
The Places You Have Come
quickly.
to Fear the Most.
There it is. Yeah. Like it came out really quickly, and then he like redid 2 of the songs.
Yes.
I never knew why. And like now we get like the full picture of why he did that. Like they shelved his record, which is like such an asshole move.
Yeah.
Because like you're spiting yourself too at the same time.
Everyone was illegally downloading it anyway.
That too, but yeah.
No, it's really scummy. And yeah, he said, he's like, I have the songs ready to go. I just need to fly home. I need to pay off this like $5,000 credit card, and then I will tour like the rest of my life. And that's literally what he did.
He did that. He made it in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Unreal. And like they talked about like his first show, like everyone in the crowd just like sitting down.
Yeah, that was like unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
Like in a scene show.
Yeah. And like it was like people would like throw drinks at him, and then those guys who were throwing drinks, their girlfriends would go and buy his merch after the show. There was another Mikey Way one in there where he said we knew Chris would go the distance.
Yep, he knew everybody.
He knew. But yeah, and then they also mentioned, I don't know why it went back to Thursday in this chapter, but Mikey Way used to like carry their gear and make like buttons and merch for them just because he like
that them. Was really random.
That was very thrown in there because it's not even like the right location. Well, I guess Caraba like came up and was then doing shows up there. That's why.
Yeah. The Under Oath tidbit was like it was in there really quick.
Yeah.
Like fast. He's like, I learned how to sing clean.
Yes.
From Swiss Army Romance.
Aaron Gillespie or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like put that on, like sing in the car with my mom.
Yeah, driving to school.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, would not expect that to come from Under Oath, you know?
No.
Like, so cool. Yeah.
And then Gabe from Midtown showing Drive Through Newfound Glory, and they paid him with a PlayStation.
That was a wild one also. And I love the way the book is written. It's like, yeah, we paid him with a PlayStation. Then the next quote is from like Gabe or like Heath. It's like, didn't they give you like a PlayStation? He's like, oh yeah. Like it's literally just like people talking and all.
And it all ties together.
Yeah, it's great.
Although we got some, I think, kind of a brief window into how some of these interviews were thrown together in our interview tonight, which is interesting.
Yeah. Tune in next week. We have Benny Horowitz and the rest of Town Liar on, Jason Shevchuk and Nicholas Ramelli. I think I'm messing that one up, but apologies. Remondelli. Yeah. Sorry.
Be in there.
Yeah, but
we're just
they're in Town Liar, who Brett saw the other week, but Benny's the drummer for Gaslight Anthem, and Nick and Jason were in this band Bound together, and these other bands. We'll talk about it
Kid Dynamite
next week. Kid Dynamite, yeah, and then Heath is from Midtown, but he wasn't here for the interview. Yeah, but anyway, tune in next week because we do talk to Benny and all of them. We get into the book a little bit with Benny, and we get lots of cool like insight to these basement shows and just being around for like this whole thing. Yeah, it was
such a fun interview. I hope we get them on again.
Yeah,
go check them out on Bandcamp if you want to get a little preview of their music before the interview.
Yeah. Lies 1 through 7 is their album name. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this week. Thanks for listening as always. We love you guys. We'll have part 2, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Well,
episode after the interview.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, yeah, I
can power through, I think.
Hell yeah. It only gets better. It gets really hard to put down.
Really took off after like I think was part 1.
Yeah.
After this part.
Yeah. You just don't want to stop. You don't want to stop. So I mean, the listeners can read it as far as they want. We can read as far as we want, but we're gonna stick to at least chapter 2, or part 2 for 2 weeks from now. So yeah, we love you guys. Thank you for listening, all of you. New people, welcome to the shit show. No, thank you for being here. Follow us on Instagram, General Mission Pod. Yeah, peace out. See you next week.
Oblivion awaits.